Well, we were really keen to do the competition again because the standard of the stories was great last time. There was lots of enthusiasm about writing stories, and we knew there would be because we know how good the writing is on Mumsnet. And even this time round, I'm pleased to say they were even better. We had even more entrants and some really, really great stories. So it was quite hard in the end to choose the final 10, but in the end we got there.
We were looking for stories that would make us smile, or make us think, or make us laugh, or stories that were just different to what we've seen before. Ideally stories that you would want to pick up and read to a small child as soon as possible, and there were lots of them, and it was enormous fun to judge them and very, very hard to pull it down to the final 10.
I thought that was fantastic. The quality of the stories was superb, and it was very, very difficult to highlight the winners. There's fantastic variety and lovely stories.
We had nearly 700 entries, which was wonderful because we didn't have a very long period for submission. And the standard of entry was very high this time. There were a lot of very good stories, well constructed, well structured, well written, some very nice ideas, lots of different animals. People stuck to the rules but yet explored ideas. It was very impressive.
I enjoyed the amount of variation there was, and just some really lovely ideas that really original, and made you, or some of them, the best of them really kind of made you read like a child again. There can be no greater compliment, I suspect.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't quite know what to expect, but it's been a really, really enjoyable process.
We had a really enjoyable couple of hours, really, judging. And yeah, they're lovely judges. Everyone had put a lot of work in, lots of different perspectives. And it was actually just a really fun chat. We were mostly in agreement. There were kind of one or two where there was a big debate, but largely we were in agreement, and pretty happy with the outcomes. No fisticuffs.
There was a little bit of everything, but there were some of the stories about the forest, for example, some of the old-fashioned fairy tales coming through as well, and also a couple of very quirky modern stories as well. So I think that altogether they make a very, very nice compilation.
I certainly think that all the stories were written by people with a very strong visual idea and awareness of visual quality of books. So I can imagine actually illustrating quite a few of these stories myself.
However attuned you are to children in your job or in your more distant relatives, it's not maybe until you have your own that you can really start to understand what appeals to particular types of children. You get maybe that clearer idea because you're so immersed in it all the time. But then, of course, at the same time, you haven't got the time to write anything. So how they've managed to do it for that reason, I do not know.
Parents and grandparents are obviously experts at telling stories to small children, and it's amazing how well this is translated from reading other people's books into writing their own stories that have come across so well and will be put into a fantastic book all of their own.
There's nothing like sitting down with a carer, an adult, a brother, sister, and reading together, reading aloud. I mean, that's something we did with a lot of these stories. We read them aloud, and it's a unique experience to feel the emotion of a story told well.
If a story is personal, that comes through. It doesn't necessarily mean a story that's happened to somebody, but something that has some resonance with their own character or their own lives, or something that's happened to them. The best stories come from there, come from inside us, really.
I think we're going to produce a lovely book, actually. I tested it on my 7-year-old, and he keeps asking me for them again and again, which is, I think, what we want, a collection that you can keep coming back to. You can kind of take away with you because you need more than one story, and they're all different, and there's something for everyone, but they're really beautifully illustrated, I hope, as well. I hope that will come out. They were last time, so I'm sure they will be. So, yes, something that you can keep coming back to, and that has lots of variety.
But I think that reading is important for children, and them understanding that they can let their imagination go and to live a completely different life, and that not everything is regimented like with electronic games, but that you can go in every possible direction is something that if you learn it when you are little, then it always stays with you in life.